Wanna do what I do, better go and put in work. Wanna see what I see.
It's my 1-year anniversary running Green Shareen Design, and I'm gonna share a few of the things that I want you to know about getting started in business. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. I am Green Shareen. I'm an interior designer here in New York City, and I am celebrating my what? Anniversary! It's my 1-year anniversary in business for myself, running Green Shareen Design. The first is get certified. When you want to go into business, I can't stress the importance of having the knowledge that you need in doing whatever it is that you want to do, to make sure that you understand the protocol, procedures, the updated things. It's like accounting, right? Like, we all know that we have to file our taxes or whatever, but like, the importance of the accountant is that they're staying up to speed and up to date on all of the different nuances. And that's what happens when you go to a professional. So specifically in an industry like ours, in a service industry, you want to make sure that you're actually certified. You want to make sure that you're actually qualified to do this work. When you're articulating to your clients what your value is, a lot of it is going to have to do with not just what you know, but also experience that you've had. So in addition to getting certified, get some experience, get a network of friends and people that you can collaborate with and create a small village out of, and move from there, and you'll learn so much. Some of the things that I came across was like a special enterprise called the Minority Women in Business Enterprise here in New York, and I was able to get certified with them, and as a result it opened up doors where I can bid on larger city projects and government projects that I wouldn't have had exposure to if I didn't get the certification with them. So I'm a certified interior designer, and I'm also certified Minority Women in Business Enterprise. And I would say if there are other certifications or credentials that you can get in your area, go ahead and get them. It's not just something fun to put on your resume, but it's really important to be able to articulate the value in what you're doing, because in creative fields, you're pricing yourself. So you need to be able to explain to your client what exactly they're paying for. The second thing is you need a process and a procedure. There is no way that you can continue in business if every time you go to do something, you're doing it a different way. You need to have some process in place. When X happens, Y happens. When A happens, B happens. And that way you know for sure exactly how to run through things, and you're not reinventing the wheel every time a scenario comes up. You shouldn't be trying to figure out what your contract looks like every time someone agrees to work with you. You shouldn't be trying to figure out what your pricing is every time you meet a new person. You shouldn't be redesigning a logo every time you need new business cards. Like, certain things you need a process and a procedure for, and a place to save it. I tend to use Trello. I like Trello. I have what's called a company guidebook on Trello, and it just helps me keep all the information that I need for my business in one place.
Mommy?
Yes.
Now I can have some breakfast.
1 minute. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I have a company guidebook in Trello, and it has all the information for my business, and what I do is I make sure that I keep it all saved there, so that if there's anything process wise that I've established that I need to know or that I need to do, I can reference it right there in that document. The other thing is I listen to a lot of podcasts, and this helps me keep my brain going on business and on the different things that I should do. Hearing how other people do things, hearing their experiences, saves me a lot of time. If they made some sort of mistake and they're willing to sit down and talk about it, like right now I'm talking about some tips that have helped me in my first year, if you apply these particular tips in your scenario, then you can save yourself some time. Just for the sake of the audio, I'm gonna pause for a minute. So you can set up templates in your email, and an easy way to do that is if you don't have some software that'll do it for you, that actually does templates like G Suite or what have you, you can just put it in your email signature. Every email application has signatures, and you can actually just write whatever it is you want to put in your template in the signature. So an example of that would be if someone inquires on a design project and they email me, "Hey Shareen, nice to meet you, saw your stuff, would really like to chat more." The first thing I'm going to do is send them back to my website, because I want them to fill out my questionnaire. So my email reply would be, "Thanks for reaching out. Would you please head over to greenshareendesign.com shameless plug, and fill out my questionnaire. This will help you to be able to articulate exactly what you want to get out of the experience of speaking with me and working with me, and help me understand whether or not I'm the right fit and if we can move forward together. So that email signature or template can be something that I have sent automatically whenever I get those kinds of inquiries, and it just saves me time from sending one more email. The third thing is scheduling out your time. I think when you work for an organization and they're telling you what you have to do when, it's really easy for you to just kind of follow those guidelines. But when you're working for yourself specifically in business, it's very, very difficult for you to be regimented like that. I did an exercise where I scheduled my time in 30-minute blocks. And what I did was the reactive version of it. So instead of me being proactive and saying what I was going to do with that time, I literally just sat down and wrote down whatever I did for those 30 minutes. And I did that for 3 months. 3 months is a long time. I know that's crazy, but it helped me identify exactly how much time I was spending doing what thing. And then I could say, you know what, I want to put that on the flip side. So instead of spending 6 hours a week on newsletters and marketing, I want to spend 2 hours a week on that. So when I came out of that experience, I moved forward and decided, like, Thursday mornings I was going to spend 2 hours on my newsletter every week, even though it only goes out once a month. And I put that in my calendar and I blocked it out and I made that time and I'm done. Or on certain evenings I do Zumba and I put that in my calendar and I blocked it out and I'm done. It helps me make sure that I'm doing what I need to do when I need to do it, and I'm now in control of my calendar instead of my calendar being in control of me. So even the things that you may not be excited about doing, you need to put that in your calendar anyway and get it done, because it needs to get done at some point. I think that's really advantageous with scheduling your time is you're not running, you know, all over the place trying to figure out what's what. I think when you have an open calendar, like I use a scheduling system with clients in order to schedule client meetings and things like that, you can end up going from uptown to downtown to this place to that place. And for me, I like to dress a certain way for certain things. I'm not gonna dress for a construction site the same way that I dressed for a consultation. Like, it's just two different animals that I'm dealing with. Or maybe if I'm going in to do measurements, I may not necessarily want to wear a skirt that day, but if I'm not doing measurements, I definitely want to wear a skirt that day perhaps. So taking all that into consideration when I'm doing my calendar and figuring out what my look is so that when I put on an outfit for the day, I'm good to go for that day. Of course, you know, we're running around a lot less now with quarantine life, but it's still something to consider. The fourth thing is get help. Just because you're self-employed doesn't mean that you can do it all yourself. As a matter of fact, you cannot do it all yourself. There is no way that you can just run an empire all by yourself. Just like you're an expert in a certain area, or you have expertise in a certain area and that's why you have that business, other people have expertise in certain areas and they can help you. You need an accountant on your team. You need a legal assistant on your team. And the great thing about today is there's ways to get these people in your lives virtually that doesn't involve you actually having to sit down and, you know, go to an office and pay an hourly rate that might be higher than it is now because they're working from home. You're not at a 10. You're not at a 10 with everything. You, like me, for example, I'm at a 10 when I'm working on interiors. When I sit down and I'm doing the graphic design for my marketing materials, I'm at like an 8 or like a 7, right? And it's because it's not my expertise. So either I'm gonna sit down and like relearn InDesign in order to make this flyer look the way that I want it to look, or I can outsource it if I can afford to, and I always cash flow. I do not recommend people going into debt, but I would always cash flow it if I can afford to outsource it and get that graphic design done the way that it needs to be done and the amount of attention that needs to go to it from an expert, as opposed to me trying to drag my feet and get it done that way. So get help. Tip number 5 is the business of being in business. I think one of the things that people don't talk about at all in business is the fact that you actually spend a small percentage of your time doing the thing that it is that you love to do. So, quick story about me, I actually have my degree in business administration, and the reason I went to do that route as opposed to a specialty is because I realized when you have a specialty, you're good at that particular thing, but you're not good at all of the other elements that make it successful. For example, if you were a fitness trainer, you're great at fitness. You can work out really well. You can get your body in shape. You can get other people's bodies in shape really well. Can you market yourself really well? Can you do a website? Can you advertise? Can you do your accounting, all these other things that go into it, that if you don't do these other aspects of the business, you're not going to be successful, no matter how fantastic you are at your expertise. So understand the business of being in business, and this ties back into getting help. Maybe you get some different professionals in those areas to help you with those things that are shortcomings for you, or figuring out how you're going to schedule your time to dedicate to certain things. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you checking out my YouTube videos. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here, and I appreciate that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I will see you next time.
Wanna get, better go and put in work. Wanna roll, how I roll, better go and put in work.